We won't. Hey, folks, welcome once again. I am Colonel Stan Scrabbit from the Northeast region doing recruiting and retention director stuff. And with me, I have Lieutenant Colonel Darren Ninnis. He is the National Recruiting and Retention Manager. And today, Lieutenant Colonel Ninnis will be running the show. And I'll let him speak here in a few minutes. But in the meantime, what I want to encourage you is we have, and I suddenly have an extra voice. Hold on. Okay. Woo! I'm running too many technologies. Okay. Basically, we are monitoring the chat. So if you have questions, I will make sure that Colonel Ninnis gets them. And please participate, right? Let us know that you're there. Sign in, give us your name. Yeah, and you know, at the end of this, you know, hopefully you like the presentation, do that, share it with your friends and all those things, and we'll remind you about that later. But in the meantime, Colonel Ninnis, how the heck are you?
Well, I'm fantastic now that I've been able to surmount my technology issues this evening. Wow, we were running like crazy right before the presentation, so sorry about that.
Yeah, but you're on, and that's good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So today you are going to talk about some really cool stuff dealing with Facebook ads and how you're using them to support your open house. So I am going to turn it over to you, and I'm going to just go watch what's going on.
Okay, fantastic. Hopefully I'll get the right button here and share the right screen. Hold on one quick second. I'll get the screen shared. Stan, am I up?
Yes, you are up.
You never know, so you never know.
You're looking good. All right.
Okay, fantastic. Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Darren Ninnis. I'm the National Recruiting and Retention Manager, and we're going to talk a little bit today about Facebook advertising for unit recruiting events. One of the things that is we've discovered up here in my unit is that Facebook actually works pretty well for advertising, and it's pretty inexpensive. A lot of people don't realize that you know, Facebook is actually an advertising platform. Hey, that's, you know, when you're not paying for the service, you're the product, right? But you know, here's an opportunity for Civil Air Patrol units to inexpensively use Facebook as an opportunity to advertise their events to a really highly targeted audience. So, you know, Facebook's really here to stay. It's about 200 million users in the US, and people are spending about 40 minutes a day on Facebook. So it's really easy to see why it's, you know, kind of the place to be. People upload about 300 million photos a day to Facebook, and every 60 seconds, 512,000 comments are posted, and about 300,000 statuses are updated. So lots and lots of information is flying by on Facebook. In total, worldwide, about 5 billion pieces of content are shared every day on Facebook. That blows my mind. I don't know about you. So demographically speaking, though, the 25 to 34 age range is the biggest group on Facebook. It's about 30% of the users on Facebook, and a substantial number of women are represented there, for example. So there's a really good demographic mix. You've got men, women, ages 13 to 18, 18 to 25, 25 to 35. You know, there's all kinds of people. Your grandmother's using Facebook, your nephew's using Facebook. Your cat's got a Facebook page, for crying out loud. So, you know, there's a lot of opportunity there for people to use Facebook for good things. So the bottom line, though, is that, you know, Facebook can be a really big microphone for you. And if you use it well and you're smart about it, it will help you advertise your unit and get the message out to a broader audience. So, but why Facebook, really? You know, people say to me all the time, well, I don't like social media. You know, I bet you there was somebody back in the early 1900s who said, I don't like this newfangled telephone thing either. You know, social media, for good or bad, is here to stay. You know, you've got Twitter, you've got Facebook, Instagram. My 15-year-old son, you know, we were first on Instagram. I remember, you know, he said, Dad, do you know what Instagram's for? And I said, oh yeah, Ethan, it's for sharing photographs. And he stepped back kind of, and he had this like terrible look on his face. He goes, Dad, Instagram is social media. I was like, wow. And he was about 13 at the time. I'm thinking to myself, this kid gets it. So, the big thing about social media though is that's where the people are. And Facebook, as I was saying, that's where the people are. That's recruiting 101. Go where the people are. Why would you go, to some dead end street? I'm going to recruit people on a dead end street. No, you go and stand on the street corner, or the busiest street corner in the busiest place in the world. And right now, that's on Facebook. So, you want to make sure that you can advertise pretty much to everybody in your area, though. You can pick specific interests, town areas. You can say, I want to go a 10-mile radius from a specific zip code, for example. You can narrow down things to age groups and genders. A savvy Facebook marketer, somebody who's really doing this really well, and that's unfortunately not me. I can tell you right now, I do it okay, but I think that I could probably be doing it better. But a savvy Facebook marketer could break down a campaign into like separate mini campaigns. So you could say, okay, so we're going to spend, say, $100 on Facebook recruiting, but I'm going to spend $50 on the pilot aspect. So I'm going to craft an ad that's got pilot specific photography. It's got pilot specific messaging. It seeks to engage an audience that's just the pilot audience. So you say, okay, flying or piloting or FAA, or there's a number of different interests you could use to build that audience, or interest group. Say you said, geez, my squadron, we don't have enough female cadets. I don't, let's face it, Civil Air Patrol generally it has about a 10 or 12 or 14% female to male, kind of ratio thing going there. So maybe you say, hey, I would really like to open up Civil Air Patrol to more female cadets in my area. You could, in theory, target build an ad campaign, a specific ad as part of your overall campaign that only targets female cadets, or male cadets, or whatever, whatever you'd like. It really allows you the opportunity to kind of break it apart and mix it up a little bit. Keep in mind that Facebook advertising is cheap. You can decide how much or a little you really want to spend. If you only have a $25 ad budget, hey, that's great. Facebook is going to serve up ads, until you use your budget. But you can be pretty much assured they're going to go to the right audience when you do spend that money. You're not going to spend $25 on ads that are going to go to people in Zimbabwe who don't want to join Civil Air Patrol. No, they're going to go to people within 10 miles of your zip code, or 25 miles of your zip code, who have an interest in aviation, who are between the ages of 13 and 50 or 13 and 80, or whatever demographics you pick. But it'll tell you if you're going to spend $25, okay, this ad's going to be seen by, and I don't know what the number is, it varies, but 1,500 people, say. So if you say, geez, I really want my ad to be seen by more people, I want to bring more people in, you're going to have to up your budget a little bit. I always recommend to people, start out small. Don't get crazy. Start with it early, and try it, $25, $35, and then go from there. Stan, you got something for me?
Yeah, really, one of the things that that you mentioned, and really is important to make your dollars go further, requires you to hone in your target audience that you want the advertisement to go to. Like you said, if Civil Air Patrol is under, we don't have enough members that are female cadets, for example, that rather than just put out a blanket advertisement on Facebook saying, come to our open house, you can run multiple advertisements and have one, maybe split your money, have one running that's targeted just to female cadets, female teenagers. And so you have half of that money going there, where the other half is going to maybe another audience, pilots, for example.
Parents.
So now you, or parents, and now you can be pulling in, the right people, that makes your money go a lot further, because Facebook will use that algorithm and really look at just advertising exactly to the people you want. If you, and I would encourage you to experiment with it. Every time, that you can take, say, $10 and put it towards this one advertisement and see how well it does. And then take another $10 and put it towards a different advertisement and see how that does. But really hone in, and Darren should explain this as he's going along, how to really hone in on a particular audience. So sorry, Darren.
No, that's great. And that's exactly my point is, so there's a messaging you might want to say to parents that says, hey, moms and dads, want to keep your teenager, engaged in science, technology, engineering, and math. Here's the thing. And you could then go in that direction. And so you could build an ad that's more specific. Geez, I can't use that word tonight. Specific to parents. And the thing is don't forget, moms and dads are the people who get, cadets to meetings. So that's always a thing. Cadets don't generally join Civil Air Patrol without, mom and dad sort of driving the bus a little bit. So that's the kind of the why of why you want to go to Facebook. The people are there, the targeting is there, and the inexpensiveness is there. You're going to get a broad reach. You're going to get a lot of views, and I'll explain this in a few minutes. You'll see this for fairly cheap money. So the first steps, though, this is a funny one. You really need to want to make sure you have a Facebook page. You're probably out there going, well, what if we don't have a Facebook page? Well, you're going to have one. So you should establish a Facebook page and check the Civil Air Patrol pamphlet 152, which is the CAP social media guidelines, on how you should set that up. You want to set up a Facebook page, not a group, but a page with a capital P. That's important. A lot of people don't understand the difference between a Facebook user, a Facebook page, and a Facebook group. And if you check the 152, it actually explains some of the differences there so that you can understand what you're setting up. And when you start that page, start to build that page out. You have to do this first. You don't want to have just it's like running a store, right? You don't want to advertise for, hey, I got a great store here, but I have 3 products on the shelf. No, you're going to need to upload some photos. You're going to have some information about your unit, maybe a link to your website, some header graphics, some things that are going to catch people's eye. It's got to look interesting. So you got to have that first. Most units, I won't say most units, but I would say a lot of units do have Facebook pages in this day and age. So if you already have a Facebook page, hey, you're good to go. The important thing then is figure out who your admins are, because the administrators are the people who can post these ads on the pages. So you as a general user, if you're just a sort of a Facebook user and you don't have administrative privilege on your squadron's Facebook page, you can't create ads. So you need to make sure that either you or an administrator can create ads. So that's really the first sort of step. Do you have a Facebook page? And who are your admins so you can use the Facebook page to create the advertisements? So then the thing you want to determine now is sort of your audience and what your campaign's going to look like. So your who, what, when, and where, and your budget too, how much. So you want to know, who do you want to attract? Is it seniors? Is it cadets? Is it pilots? Do you want to appeal to parents? Do you want to appeal to educators? Do you want to appeal to local government officials? There's a whole raft of ways you can kind of slice and dice this. And like I said earlier, I might not be the best at this. I've kind of fallen into it, and I've tried it, and I've done it, and it seems to work, and I'd like to tune it, make it work better. And as we go, the next time we do it, we'll do something a little different. Improvements like the jello of life, right? There's always room for more. And that's how we have to attack this. The first time you do Facebook advertising, you might not do it completely right, but you will get some result. So now the next time you do it, you tweak it, you tune it, you adjust it. So then the what, the messaging, what's going to be your messaging? Hey, come on down to our event. Well, what is your event? I always remind people, tell people, no, don't necessarily tell people what we're doing. Tell people why we're doing it, or how we're doing it. Invite them. Don't just tell them. Sell, what's that phrase? Telling ain't selling. Um, don't just say, hey, come to our event on the 9th of March. No, you want to say things like, interested in finding out more about Civil Air Patrol and the missions we perform for America? Come on down. So you want something that's going to catch them. That messaging is important. If you have somebody in your squadron who's a business person, maybe has to market their business, talk to them. They might have some ideas about how you can appeal to your target audience with your messaging. So the other thing is, you want to figure out when do you want this ad to run. A longer ad over the course of a month, or even more, if you can do it that long, is really more effective than an ad that's run over a short period of time, like say 2 weeks. You've got to plan ahead. I'll use an example. Back in January, my squadron, we did a short, I called it a no open house membership night, just to try something out a little different, to kind of shake up things. And we did our Facebook advertising about 2 weeks out from that event, and it really wasn't that good. So this time around, we have an open house on the 9th of March. We started our Facebook advertising on the 7th of February, and the results, I think, are spectacularly better. So you want this to happen over a longer period of time. It really works better, and it allows you to sort of see that ad more than once. You want to target your area. Again, know where you want to start. Say 10 miles from your home zip code, or 25 miles, or 20 miles from the airport, say. I always advise, stay closer rather than further away. If you've got a choice, here's a great example. In my town, if I go 5 miles from my zip code, I'm going to get pretty much the whole town. I might get a little bit of a couple of the surrounding towns. If I go 10 miles, I'm going to get quite a bit more. But maybe I do want to recruit more local people into my unit. If you've got a lot of people who are coming from further away, and you think, wow, boy, the unit doesn't have anybody who lives down the street. Maybe we should target just the local area. So start small. Don't get crazy. Don't go, oh my God, I'm going to blanket my whole state. No. Don't do that. First off, your brother and sister units are going to kill you, and it's not going to be economical for you. You're going to be blowing a lot of money on people who aren't interested in driving 35 miles. So think about how far people want to drive to your unit, and go a little bit smaller than that and start there. And lastly, though, is what's your budget? You can spend $25, $50, $100 or more. It's really up to you. If you want 18,000 people to see your ad, well, you know what? That's going to probably cost you a couple $100. So think about that. If you think, geez, if 1,000 people saw my ad, that would be great. Okay, do that. Start with that. That's probably going to cost you $25. So start with that. So here's a great example. This is the ad we're running right this minute for my squadron's upcoming open house on the 9th of March. Unfortunately, this is a static picture. Now we'll go to the ad here in a minute on the live Facebook, but you can see, it's got some photographs in it. I've done this before where it was basically just one sort of static photograph. This is the first time I've picked several. I grabbed some photographs from other Civil Air Patrol units and said, hey, I'm going to use these. Yeah, that's a New York wing patch on there. Never mind. Anyway, but it's a good photograph. Here's an important thing to remember, and I tell people this all the time. If you're going to sit down and pick photos, make sure you're picking photos that tell a story. That phrase, a picture tells 1,000 words. You want a picture that tells 1,000 words. You don't want to pick photos that aren't bringing things forward. I've had people many times say to me, but that guy isn't in our squadron. Yes, but the picture evokes a certain message that you're trying to convey. If you want a better picture, well, take a better picture. Take a better picture of somebody in your unit. I've had people come up to me and say, hey, that guy hasn't been in Civil Air Patrol in 4 years. That's true. but that's an awesome color guard picture, and I'm going to keep using it because it's an awesome color guard picture. So it's important that you pick photography, and good photography, that evokes the right messaging, rather than falling back on, well, I have to have a picture of a guy in my unit. So just FYI, that's kind of one of my little pet peeves. So here's a great example of some pictures that don't work. Okay, here's a picture that somebody probably would have wanted to post as part of our advertisement. This cadet's doing an aerospace class, but it looks like they're hanging around and they're goofing off. It doesn't say anything. It just says a bunch of people in camouflage uniforms standing around a table. So would I use that photo? Probably not. Okay. This photo, however, a friend of mine, Steve Tupper from Michigan Wing, flying a glider there up over Owasso, Michigan. This is a fantastic photo. I love this photo. This photo says to me, let's go fly gliders, for crying out loud. Okay, this looks awesome. This says Top Gun. This says, oh, you too could be strapped into this thing. So use that photo. This thing says aviation all day, all week, all the time. How about this photo? This photo comes to us out of Texas. Great photo again, taken on the ramp at night during a SAR mission. Airplanes tied down there. It's red, white, and blue planes, kind of neat fishbowl effect there, a little wide angle. I really like this photo. So again, it says, hey, look, we have airplanes. So again, this is kind of the reason why you use it. And again, that photo that I used, the gentleman shaking hands here, what does this say? It looks like two guys that are kind of happy to be there, and somebody's probably getting thanked for what they're doing. Okay, so don't you want to come down and shake hands with us? All right, maybe that's a little simplistic, but I mean, that's the kind of thing. So, all right, enough talking. Let me show you a couple things here. So let me see if I can figure out how to do this. Stan, you gonna bridge the gap for me a little bit while I figure this out?
Yeah, stop sharing and then you can share your other screen. But hey, one of the things I did a quick look, and to reach 1,000 people using a normal magazine ad would cost you about $20. To get 20 people, get eyeballs, 20 people, or 1,000 people costs $20 for a magazine ad. 1,000 people for Facebook is 25 cents.
Really?
Really. So if you've got an ad, every 25 cents, it's basically getting in front of 1,000 people. And
That's awesome.
Some of those same people may get it multiple times, but that's what you want, more eyeballs. So
Stan, am I still sharing my screen here? I can't unshare.
No, you are not. So
thankfully.
Okay. So you got to share your screen and choose desktop.
Okay, got it. I think I've got it now. So I'm sharing my Facebook page here. This is my, let me go to my squadron. Let me go to my squadron Facebook page here. So here's our squadron Facebook page. Got the 75th anniversary logo there. And we got some photography. I need to talk to my photographers about their photography, what they're putting up. But so we have here we have an event. We created a Facebook event. You can see it over here on the left-hand side. You can look at your events. So we created an event. It's like a calendar item. And tonight, when we during this presentation, we're going to boost this event. It's 2 weeks or not, a week and a half or so ahead of our event. I'm going to just boost this one just to get some extra views out of it. So we'll do that here in a minute. But where did it go? Come on, let's go back to there we go. I'm new at this Facebook thing. I just wash my fingers, can't do a thing with them. So what I did was for this event, I created a post. And this post basically just says, hey, are you interested in finding out more about the America's Air Force Auxiliary? Join us, find out more, here's our link, etc. Short, sweet, to the point, no fooling around. It's going to show up on a mobile device. It's going to show up on the sidebar over here in your Facebook, when you're on Facebook. So you want to have something that's going to catch people's eye and be interesting. Okay. Now what you can see here is we've been running this ad for about 3 weeks now. We budgeted $100 for this advertising. So we have not spent quite $75, and we've reached 3,200 people. Now, you can look at the breakdowns here. 257 photo views, 21 link clicks, 34 other clicks. 312 people have clicked on some aspect of this post. Okay. We got a bunch of likes on it. We got a whole bunch of likes, comments, and shares. 3,206 people have seen this ad one way or another. This is okay. It's better than our previous campaign, and I could probably do better, and I really want to do better, but it's not bad right now, and I'm feeling pretty good about how this is working out. Now, if you open up under this is what the screen would look like if you were to click that boost post button, and we'll do that in a minute. But you can see I have an audience. I'm targeting men and women ages 13 to 55, and I just picked that number out off the top of my head because I figured they were probably the most active Facebook users who live in or around Concord, New Hampshire. Okay, whose interests match aviation, military, rescue, leadership, engineering, aerospace, rocketry, search and rescue, or emergency management. There's other interests, and again, we'll show those in a minute. Our promotion ran for 29 days, and the budget's $100. So we spent, like I said, not quite $75 for this kind of reach. So it's looking pretty good. I'm not going to add budget to it. Nice try, Facebook. But you can see right here, it says if you add $80 to your budget, it'll increase and it'll give you an estimate of how many more people you're going to reach. I'm not spending that, so that's fine. But when you go to do a boost, it'll actually tell you this is how many people with these particular parameters, this is how many people are going to see your ad. And this is what the ad looks like on the desktop, and this is what the ad will look like in the mobile. Okay, so you can see that the photography that I picked, you know, it's eye-catching. You've got to have something that's going to look good when people see it. They're going to look and go, what is that? They're going to want to click on it. It might be Steve Tupper's face when they click on it, but they're going to want to click on it. Sorry, Steve, if you're watching. Okay, so let's do this for a second. Let's go up to our event. Instead of boosting the post, we already boosted the post. Okay, I did that 29 days ago, or 3 weeks ago or so. We're going to go to boost an event. If this was a post, you would see boost post. So it's the same concept. It's just this is going to be a little bit different. So it says boost your post. So you can put your text in here. That's already the text that's in our post, our event, I should say. And actually, I should probably change that to the actual URL for our open house, but I won't do that right now. This is a pretty good photo. Again, a good friend of mine took this one of his cadets flying on orientation flights, young lady in an airplane. This photo, actually, I won't say we tested it, but we noticed that one day we were running a couple different ads, and this particular photo actually got more clicks out of 13 to 18 and 18 to 25-year-old females. So guess what? I'm going to use that photo again. So my general 2017 audience here is people within 25 miles of Concord, New Hampshire, where I live. So I can go in and I can say 25 miles, I can say 10 miles, and it'll let you vary the distance. I could say 15 miles, it'll make my circle a little smaller. And oh, I heard Stan there. You
no, I was gonna comment the fact that in your advertisement you're mentioning age group of 12 to 18, and I would probably that's probably the age group that I would reach out to.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Also,
So
you mentioned adults too. So
yeah. Well, and I kind of do. We balance it there. We kind of go with both. So I don't want to leave anybody out really, but so you can adjust that audience. You could go down here and say, oh, I only want 13 to 16-year-olds. Maybe I only want cadets this time, but I do want to expose Civil Air Patrol to both cadets and adults. So within 15 miles.
One of the things that you can do to experiment is, try this advertisement with 13 to 18, okay, yep. And then boost it again with 18 or 25 to 55
Yep.
and see how it resonates with each group.
Sure. And the
Right.
other
This
thing
is
to
a
think
way
about.
to keep dialing it
Yep.
in the next time you do it.
Well, and the thing to think about, this is the event. This is the actual, like the calendar event page. So it's a little different. I did notice last time that how can I put this? Your target demographic for cadets aren't likely to put this on their calendar. Moms and dads are likely to put this on their calendar. So we discovered that. That was a kind of an interesting little thing. So yeah, prospective cadets didn't click on this. I mean, they saw it, but they didn't necessarily say, "Oh, I'm going to save that because I want to bring Tommy to that." No, it was a little different. So, I've got my additional interest. Now, what other interest could we add here? Could we add STEM? Nope, that's stem cell comes up. So science, technology, engineering. We've already got engineering. Stan, you got any other suggestions for maybe some interests we could target? No ideas.
Well, I would, let's see. Yeah, aviation, you've already got that. Flying.
It's funny because
Try pilot.
like, see, it says flying ace. That must be a
Yeah,
game or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
I'm
don't
gonna
want
take
that.
that away.
Try pilot.
Pilot. Oh, pilot aeronautics. There you go. So yeah, if somebody's talking about flying or pilots, they're likely to get this ad pop up. So yeah, let's see. Air, Air Force. Let's see if Air Force comes up. Doesn't, but oh, United States Air Force comes up. So maybe if somebody's talking about United States Air Force, this will show up to them. So again, now you've added some interest areas. Oh, that's right. It drops down there. So you could say aerospace engineering. I thought we already had that, but aerospace engineering. You could say aerodynamics. You could come up with spaceflight technology. Here, fixed wing airplanes. You could really get crazy with this. I mean, it'll really show a lot. So I'm going to save that. Got a good mix of things there. Whoops. Didn't mean to cause that to go away that quickly. Got a good mix of things here, so I think that's pretty safe. So this is only going to run for about I think 8 or 9 days. So my total budget right here is $14. That'll reach me 1,500 to 3,800 people in theory over that short period of time. Sure, I'll spend $14. But if I wanted to reach more, potentially I could reach 83,000 people with this. How much would that cost me? I'm curious. I've never done this before. What happens if I spend $200? Oh, estimated reaches. Oh, there it goes. Oh, I would reach 31,000 people if I spent $200. I am not spending $200. So I say, okay, I want this ad to run for I want to spend $14. It's going to change that budget here in a second because I'm going to say run this for 7 days or run this ad until the 9th of March. And it's going to adjust these numbers here. So I'll spend an average of $1.50 a day for 9 days if I spend $14. I don't want to spend $14 though. I want to spend $25. I'm probably going to reach another 2,600 to 6,800 people. And again, you could run these segments concurrently. So I didn't have to spend $100 on that other ad. I could have just spent $25 on that ad, $25 on another ad, $25 on, or $50 on an even, on a differently targeted ad, whatever I wanted. You can break it up and see how your performance goes.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely going to find your sweet spot. If you do multiple, many open houses where you find out what your budget really is.
Yep.
At the beginning you're experimenting, but just as an aside, some of the podcasts I listen to, some of these entrepreneurs that they're throwing down $20,000 in a Facebook ad.
Yeah. Oh, sure. But they're also reaching people all around the country and things like that.
Yeah, they got 8-digit income. So
yeah, that's not us, right? So okay, and the other thing is you have to put a payment method in. So break out your credit card, and you'll get invoiced once a month for this. So I'm going to click boost. If you place it, it probably will not be approved. Oops, why? Uh-oh. Apparently it doesn't like something. Well, that's weird. That's the first time I've ever seen that. Well, we'll boost it and see what happens. So they have somebody at Facebook that reviews these things just to make sure that they're kosher and that they're going to do something. So usually takes about 15 minutes, and they'll tell you. So there's probably something that the automatic algorithm didn't like about the picture or the wording or something like that, or there might have been more keywords than it likes or something weird like that. So in any event, oh, Stan, your lips are moving.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right.
It could be if you're targeting kids like that. So,
No, I've never gotten that
well,
before.
I mean, in your advertisement where it says 12 to 18, that may be a flag.
Oh, yeah, it could be a flag. All right, well, we'll see what they come back with. So anyway, so now it shows as boosted for $25. Now, I'm going to find it here. I always can't find the ad manager. Let's see, ad manager. I always lose the ad manager. It's publishing tools. No. Somebody chime in if you know where it's at. I always have to fish around to find the ad manager whenever I'm doing. Oh, here it is. Okay. So here's my insights as to what I'm doing. Page summary, stuff that's gone on over the last few days. You can see, how many page likes and that's page likes, not post likes, page views, not and what my reach is over just the last 7 days. I've hit 2,000 people. My post engagements, any videos that have been watched over the last few days. So here's my event promotion so far. This is just the event. This is not the boosted post, which is here. Now here you can see the one that we're presently running ends in 8 days, still has about $26 left. And I can add budget. No, nice try, Facebook. And also you can see the previous one we did back in January, a little different photography. I only used one photo. I happened to look in on this boosted post at about the same time it had $22 spent on it. It had about 3 times the post engagements that this post had and about the same number of people reached. So that told me that I did not construct this post in a really good way. So I look at the demographics of this one, and it's just not nearly as good. So it only had really one photo, and it didn't do a real good job. So this boosted post, really is doing a nice job. The other thing I'm trying to find, I always lose it. Stan, do you know where the demographic aspect? Oh, here, it's down here. Sorry. This is where you can see your engagements. No, don't go it. Type targeting. There's a an ad manager. Maybe it's here. They keep changing the name of it. And I keep losing it. I always run into it by accident. Is it in settings? Shoot. Well, doggone it. I don't want to waste everybody's time while I'm noodling around in Facebook here. But suffice to say, it'll actually tell you, hey, you did better in clicks with women than you did with men. You did better in this age demographic than you did with that age demographic. Doggone it. Stan, tell me where it's at, for crying out loud. I always lose it. Oh, ads manager right here. See, they always hide those little links on me. Here it is. This is exactly what I'm looking for. So here's our current post. So you can see how the engagements have gone over the period of time. This is where you can see how your demographics are doing. So my 13 to 17 age range really isn't doing so hot. My 18 to 24 age range looks like it's really doing some things. Okay. So the blue is post engagements, and then the teal color here is reach. So this is actually the people who have reached out, and then the ones who have engaged. So yeah, among the 25 to 34 demographic, I'm doing really good for men. Not so hot for women, but I definitely need to tune that up. And then there's a little bit of a bump here in the 45 to 54 age demo. So not too bad, not too bad at all. So you can see, you can go into the ads manager here and you can see these kinds of things. It also shows you where, well, 100% so far is placement on the Facebook. There's other ways you can have ads that place in Instagram or on Messenger. I think you have to pay extra for those, and I haven't gone that far to figure that one out. So let me go back to this one. No. Oh, there's my January 2017. So here's that one that we ran during the thing in January. And I think I mentioned, oops, I got to change the date range here. So it ran in January from, let's say, yeah, update. So we can see how it ran. It only ran for a very short period of time. It didn't do so hot. The demographic performance was pretty good amongst older men, 35 to 44. Less so amongst, again, our cadet cohort. From that recruiting night, I've gotten one senior member, and I've gotten 3 cadets though. So not too shabby for something that we just did off the cuff as kind of a test. So, but that's how you create a Facebook ad. It's fairly simple. It's really easy to do. It's fairly inexpensive. Like I've said before, don't spend a lot of money initially. Just try it out. Just, you know, go with it, and you know, go with it from a standpoint of what can I do? How can I do it? What, you know, what do I need to hit? Where do I need to hit it? And try it small. Go small first, and then go big. Let me go back to my presentation here. Let me see if I can do this without dying. Stan, I'm not as good as you are with the Google Hangouts. I hate to say it. Hold on a second here. Start from current slide. No, I want shares. There we go. So let's talk about some results, because that's what everybody wants to know, really, you know, when we do these things. So what are the results? You know, in spring 2016, we accidentally spent $100, and I say accidentally because I set up 2 different. I'd set up an event and a post, kind of like we did tonight, and I didn't realize it at the time. And I set one up for $50. I set the other one up for $50, thinking I wasn't spending $50. I was spending $50 total. Well, you know, there's no teacher like experience, right? So I spent $100. Oops. That night, we had 109 non-Civil Air Patrol members show up to our open house. We recruited 22 new cadets and 3 seniors out of that. Okay. So this event here in the spring, we're trying it again, $100. It's not a mistake this time, but and we'll let you know how we did on the 10th of March. But frankly, I mean, this is last year's open house. We had 109 people there. It was crazy. We ran out of chairs. We absolutely ran out of chairs. We had to have the cadets go run into the dining facility and grab the chairs in the dining facility and bring them out so more people could sit.
Do you know if those people came in primarily because of Facebook?
I don't. And here's a mistake we made. We had little buck slips done up to say, hey, you know, please help us with our understand our advertising campaign. Tell us how you found out about us, that kind of thing. And they didn't get put out. And it was like, oh, you know, we didn't discover that until afterwards. So this time around, those are right in the very top of the thing, right on top of the clipboard that's set up for the sign-in thing. So we have a box that they'll go in, and I'm thinking about even having like a giveaway. So, you know, tell us how you found out about us and throw it in here, and we'll have a giveaway. So, you know, to encourage people to actually respond. So, you know, that's what we got out of that thing, though. We got a whole boatload of cadets. So I mean, the proof is in the pudding. It works. It does work. So, Stan, have we had any questions so far tonight?
Well, the biggest thing is early on in the presentation, we had a number of people said they would like to get the slide deck.
Okay.
So if you send me the slide deck, I can make a Google Slides out of it and share the link on this event.
Sure thing. Sure thing. I'm happy to do that. And like I said, this is one of those kind of things that's it's relatively simple to do. You can do it from, with your bunny slippers and your pajamas on a Saturday morning, as long as it's a month or so out from your open house or your recruiting event. And it's working while you're not. It's working while you're sleeping. It's working while you're at work. It's doing the work for you. It's doing the heavy lifting. So I don't know. So far, I think it's been probably a better paid advertising setup than anything else we've done. That I mean, we print out flyers and hand those out to people. I think that the data will have to prove me out, but I think that the Facebook is actually probably more cost effective. Maybe.
So a couple questions from Mimi. Have you tried using Eventbrite for your advertise or to advertise your open house?
We haven't actually, and that's a good point. We actually do have an Eventbrite account, and that's one of those. It's on my list of things to explore and figure out, but we haven't done that yet. So yeah, that's kind of, we want to see if we can integrate the Facebook advertising with the Eventbrite event management aspect and get people to RSVP to the event and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's a great idea. What did you select for your Facebook ad placement? Desktop, mobile, or both?
Both. Yeah. Everybody's on mobile these days. I mean, I forget what the number was. I read it while I was setting up the slide deck, but the mobile demographic on Facebook is gigantic. I mean, let's face it, I get pinged all through my day with Facebook stuff. So I'll click on something and I'll bring up Facebook because somebody, commented on something. That's another opportunity for Facebook to serve me an ad.
Yeah, one of the nice things about using Facebook ads is you could do that geo targeting. Mm-hmm. And there are ways to dial it in that if they're within a certain actual spot, mm-hmm. that it'll come up on mobile. But that's another experiment that folks can try out, is to go ahead and try setting up an ad just for desktop, setting up another ad for mobile, see how they compare. Whatever you're experimenting with, only change one thing at a time.
Right.
If you change 3 things, you have no idea what the cause and effect was. So when you set up an experiment, if you are going to target to just, female cadets, use your advertisement, but just change that aspect. And then, let that run for a little bit. And then maybe you change the graphic that's in your advertisement and see how that runs. And, maybe change the graphic again and see how that runs. And eventually you'll figure out what things really resonate and get people to an open house. But, if that's too much, simply throwing a few dollars down, I would say for an open house, 10, I'd easily throw down $10, $20, just for an open house, and if I could boost the number of people I got, I'd be tremendously happy. So.
Oh, that's exactly right. And so, that's the thing, is that, we started doing this just as a gag. And then when we found out it seemed to work, we were like, let's keep doing it. Now, I will say this 50 times. I'm not an expert at this. If there's somebody out here who's watching this and goes, geez, Dennis, I've got a great idea. And I think I could do this way better than you can. And let me tell you how. I'm all ears. I'm always all ears. So please, if you're somebody who's experienced at Facebook marketing, if you're experienced with Facebook ads and you've got a better way to do it, let us know, and we'll redo this presentation with new material and let everybody know, a different way to go about it, or little tips and tricks and things to try.
Yep. Okay. Mimi also asked a few other things. Did you see an increased views or engagement for mobile when you look at that?
I don't recall exactly. I have a friend who does this for a living, and I keep bugging him to help me out, and he keeps kind of blowing me off. So
Yeah, because he does it for a living.
yeah, I know. Geez. Well, he does. It's not like he's doing it hard for a living. Anyway, I'm looking at the ads right now, and I'm trying to remember.
Well, while you're pondering that,
Yep.
the other question from Mimi is,
Hmm?
are you able to share your Facebook ads text, your copy, and images with the rest? So if you are, I would say just attach them to your PowerPoint, create a new slide, and throw all that stuff on there. And then if you're willing to share that out.
Well, the other thing is you can certainly visit our Facebook page and see what our copy looks like. It's right there. I mean, it's all right there. And the other thing to think about is if you've got photography, if you've got a photographer in your squadron, you got people who can take decent photographs, take some decent photographs at your squadron or noodle around on the internet. I mean, I borrowed that picture of Steve Tupper in the glider. He's a friend of mine from Michigan Wing, where I grew up, but he's, that's a fantastic photograph. So I can either wait around for my guys, that's the old joke about 1,000 monkeys with 1,000 typewriters. I can either wait around for my guys with GoPros to come up with a similar shot, or I can use a shot that an excellent Civil Air Patrol photographer has already taken. It's one of those chicken or the egg kind of things. So you want to make sure you use, Civil Air Patrol has a whole gallery of photographs in Flickr. You can go out and grab from cadet officer school, glider encampments, things like that.
Well, I just shared your New Hampshire CAP Facebook page, and you can go in and find that that particular event. So feel free to steal all the stuff, in other words.
Yeah, I'm trying to see here if it tells me anything about mobile, and I'll be quite fair. I don't see impression device. There it is. Other desktop. So I was on my ad campaign back in January. Desktop was 42. iPhone was 794. Holy smoke, that's quite a bit. iPad was 26, Android was 733, Android tablet was 17, and an iPod, there were still people using iPods, was 8. So yeah, there was like 10 people were using other. So yeah, you can see in the ad manager the breakdown.
We can't see it because you're not sharing it.
I'm sorry, boy.
Pamela, she asked, do you have to be an admin to create ads, or can you be a moderator? According to Facebook, admins, editors, moderators, and advertisers can create boosted page posts. So the whole lot of you can.
So yeah, this advertisement that ran for a short period of time back in January, it was 1,630 people saw it, and this breaks down by device, and you even see sort of the cost per engagement of each device. So let me see, an iPhone is 74 cents per. I mean, it's not like you're paying more for an iPhone ad per se. They're just saying spread across the cost of the campaign. Those iPhone ads were 74 cents each, etc. So
Android came in cheaper.
Yeah, a little bit.
Another request from the folks was if you could maybe do some screenshots of your numbers and throw them on the slide deck and share that out also.
Sure, I can absolutely do that. I'll put those at the end of the slide deck, and everybody can see the what the post engagements look like. Like I said, we're still experimenting with this, and I don't want to I'd like to say that I'm an expert at it, but I'm certainly not. Um, I know a little bit. I know enough to be dangerous. But that's where you start. And sometimes everybody had to start with no knowledge. And you go out there, you experiment, you figure out what you're going to do, and this worked, this didn't work. Do something different. This worked, this didn't work. Do something different. That sort of thing. And you eventually get to something that works, and it works repeatedly, and that's where you're golden. Anything else, Stan? Anybody else asking questions?
Yeah,
we got a lot of questions. This is great.
This is interesting. So Mimi came on and asked, our squadron recently joined the Chamber of Commerce, and the radio stations and TV stations are providing some complimentary ads for us, some probably PSAs. We will be using that for our upcoming open house. How can we leverage that in Facebook? Well, if you can find that information and be able to post it on Facebook, you can then boost it. So if anything that you post on Facebook, you can then in turn boost it.
Right.
And that's what Darren did. He boosted an event, but you can boost a post.
Right. So if you go to the radio station's page, so for example, if the radio station, you were on the radio station for 15 minutes talking about Civil Air Patrol, they had that segment on their, hey, we talked to Civil Air Patrol on Tuesday. And they probably have in their on their webpage, share this. So you could go in, share it to your squadron page, then boost it. Hey, listen, and now you can push that out to a broader audience. Power of social media. Stan, you're out of focus. Your autofocus is not happy with you tonight.
So, well, very cool. We are coming up on our hour. So, hey, one of the things that I would like you to do is I would like you to share this YouTube presentation with others, in your squadron, share it with other folks. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up on the actual YouTube channel and let us know that that you like this. Matter of fact, if you can do that to other YouTube presentations that we put out, that would help us out a lot by getting it out there. But tell your friends, we are here to help you do cool stuff in recruiting and retention, and we appreciate you coming in. So working in the Northeast region, we have a conference coming up in, matter of fact, less than 10 days. It will be in Atlantic City. So hopefully I can see folks there. Come on over and say hi. I will be giving 2 presentations. Darren, what do you've got going on?
I'll be at the Command Council starting on Friday, presenting to the Command Council, wing commanders, region commanders, working with the national commander. And then in April, I'm going to, I think it's April. Well, I got to look at my calendar, but I'm going to the Great Lakes Region Conference in Columbus, Ohio.
Very nice. Hey, one last thought. On your individual Facebook pages, when you post something, like your own posts and encourage other members of your squadron to like those posts, because that will help you get broader reach. That's how you get more organic reach. So do those kind of things, like your own stuff.
Absolutely.
So, hey, thank you very much. And we will see you next time. We'll let you know. We'll send out an invite. So, and it's great to see everybody from so many places. We got Sioux Falls out there. We've got Connecticut wing, Maine wing. We got folks from New Jersey, Minnesota, New York. Where else?
Wow.
And everywhere. We got all kinds of folks out there. So, hey, thanks for joining us. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful night.